What about the maintenance side of things? Because I know, certainly coming from Scotland, there's, when they were early adopters of big wind turbines, and they've had a lot of maintenance issues keeping them going. How's yours
Yeah,
sort of combating this? And this is a problem, I think, with a lot of the big wind turbines. I know Siemens Energy are going to build the biggest wind turbine in the world shortly again, bigger than a Chinese company, but they're getting bigger and bigger. But then they also have the flip side is that there's so many maintenance problems with these turbines, especially after they're getting 10 years old, especially the ones offshore when they're in extreme conditions and you're dealing with a lot of the, when you're plugged into the sea where it's the windiest it can be, it's like that's not the easiest place. It's not like surfers are going to go surfing there when these like 30-foot wind and 30-foot waves. But how does yours combat this maintenance issue? And what is the maintenance program with your mobile energy system?
yeah. Well, let me start by saying that we are acutely aware of the maintenance requirements and challenges of utility scale wind. As I mentioned in my opening, that was our background. We had a field services business that was servicing wind farms all around the world. We had close to 400 employees in that company, and it was a challenging business. From the ongoing maintenance requirement to uh, getting the employees trained and certified to work on these wind turbines, to the requirement for maintenance and some of the systems that they use in wind turbines. For example, the gearbox is the single greatest point of failure in the wind turbine, and and they're way up high in the air. So, in order to work on these wind turbines, it's a monumental challenge. Either you're climbing or taking an elevator way up into the sky to go work on something, and you better hope you remembered your screwdriver because if you forget your screwdriver or your can of oil, now you're back and forth and back, and that's a real challenge. And then what happens if something happens to one of these massive turbine blades? Do you try and repair it on site? uh, with it currently installed, do you take this massive turbine blade off and take it to a facility like our old company to have it repaired? That's a big challenge. And, they're developing, elevators and drones and robots and, to deal with this. And yeah, at the end of the day, it still makes sense, but it's a challenge. But anyways, we had a really, we were very aware of all these challenges. And so one of the things that we designed into our system was to make it so that one, it could be operated by, local people who are probably, untrained. They don't have heavy equipment or, probably not a lot of sophistication. So how can you make it intuitive to operate with low maintenance requirements? And so we did that. We have a system. One, we don't have the gearbox. We direct drive a permanent alternator. But maybe more exciting is that the all of the service work, because we can lay our mast down to ground level, we do all service work at that ground level. Nobody ever has to climb way up there to work on the turbine. But service requirements for our wind turbine are negligible. I would recommend, general inspections, but nothing requires service. Yes, we do have batteries and we do have an inverter that, depending on how many times you cycle them, they will have a cycle life. So maybe every 10 years, those systems will need to be replaced. But there's no bearings that require greasing. I would recommend that you inspect the blade and you keep the blades nice and clean, because the airfoil shape of our turbine blade is critical to its performance. So just like you don't want to have dirt build up on your solar panels, you don't want to have dirt build up on the wind blade that affects the aerodynamic shape. But general inspection and keeping it clean is the extent of the service requirement.
Yeah, that's a great answer to that as well.